Hello travelers. We're delighted to have two incredible guests from the Cuba Tourism Board.
Hi everyone, I'm Nieves Ricardo. I'm the marketing assistant for the Cuba Tourism Board here in Toronto. And I'm so happy to be here and share with you some information about Cuba. So thank you TripToGo and Brian and his team for the invitation. We are thrilled to be here. And with me is Lessner Gomez. He's the director of the office.
Hola, hola. Good afternoon to everyone. Thanks TripToGo to invite to us at the Cuba Tourism Board. I think that we are so happy and so surprised that I stay with you today here. I think that will be a really good afternoon for everybody to know more about Cuba. We can share all the questions that you have. We can share, and maybe you can know and feel better to have more information about Cuba and why we say that it's time to go to Cuba with TripToGo.
Perfect. Thank you for joining us today. Before we start, we actually want to thank everyone who came here today and also for our viewers at home. We have gathered a couple of questions from our viewers and a couple of questions from everyone from the office. So let's begin. This question is for both of you. In your opinion, what makes Cuba special for travelers beyond what's typically advertised?
I find that Cuba is very unique, and that is what sets us apart from the other destinations. And if you look at the Caribbean, yes, everybody has beautiful beaches, and when anybody talks about their destination, they always say, okay, my place is beautiful. But when I describe Cuba, I say, yes, it's beautiful, but more than beautiful, it's unique. And it's our combination of natural beauty, because we have been blessed with natural beauty, but it's about the Cuban culture. It's about the Cuban people. That is one of the biggest assets we have in Cuba. The history has shaped a very unique country. And when any tourists go to Cuba, they will see the real Cuba. They will see the authentic Cuba, and very unique experience.
Beautiful. What emotional or memorable experience would you like that travelers would experience in Cuba, in your opinion?
Oh, there are so many. There are so many, and it depends the traveler, and that is what Cuba has so much to do and see. Because if you ask a typical Canadian, what they would say, oh, I want to play dead on a beach for a week. If you ask Lessner, he would say, oh, have a cigar and a Cuban rum. If you ask me, dance the night away. So there are so many unique experiences in Cuba. When you go to Cuba, you feel that it's a country that is alive. When you go to the cities, you don't see that you are walking through a museum, like happens in other countries around the world. Cubans are very friendly. So when you do that, when you go to Cuba, you feel the connection with the people, you feel at home, you will feel free.
Yeah, I think what also is important that when you go to Cuba, you have to be more traveler than tourism. Because when you go to the tourism, you want to maybe try to stay in an all-inclusive hotel with beautiful beaches. But if you feel like traveler, you're going to live experience around the island. Cuba is not just Havana, Cuba is not just Manadero, Cuba is not just Cayo Coco. Cuba is a big island with a different thing that you can live there, that you can experiment, like experience in the island. No? It's like Nieves said, I arrived here in Canada 5 years ago, and when I arrived here, when I asked to the Canadian why you fly to Cuba, they say Sun and Beach is one of the more beautiful beaches in the world. I say, what about the Habanos? What about the Tropicana? What about the Cuba Libre or the Mojito? Or what about the dance? But one thing that is really important in Cuba, that for me, for all the travelers that during the years go to Cuba again and repeat again to Cuba, is that it's a really safe country. Cuba is
perfect. What you would say would be like the top destinations or regions for first-time travelers, in your opinion? Maybe locations that are less known or under the radar?
Well, I have to say, I get that question all the time. The most popular is Varadero, definitely, and you cannot go wrong. 22 kilometers long white sand beach that you can walk miles upon miles. Also has a lot of upscale resorts. It's very close to Havana. The Cayos, Lessner is from Cayo Coco area. So in Cuba, we have developed this beautiful island. They are very, very natural, pristine waters, so clear with all shades of blue you can imagine. So we have in the area of Cayo Coco, they have their own international airport, but also we have a different area, which is the area of Cayo Santa Maria. And then they are served by different airports. The Santa Clara Airport, which is a mainland airport, but it's connected with a causeway to Cayo Santa Maria. And there are 3 different islands there. It's Cayo Santa Maria, Cayo Encenachos, and Cayo Las Brujas. So all these islands have been developed with very good resorts. For me, a lot of people that want to explore that perfect beach, relax, enjoy the water sports, the Cayos are perfect. If you are looking for something in between, because Varadero is busy, it's a lot of activities, nightlife. So I would say Holguin is in the eastern part of Cuba, is something in between. Or if you want culture and history, of course, Havana. Havana, you cannot go wrong. It's a world-class city. Lots of entertainment. The nightlife is amazing. Bar hopping, oh my goodness. El Malecón, busy day and night. A walking tour of all Havana is a must too. You don't need even to make a plan. Just step out of the door and follow the music, because there is music everywhere. We Cubans love music, and we play the music loud, and you can walk the streets and listen to the music.
That is one of the good things that have Cuba, like the destination where you compare with another country. Because you're going to sell to someone, you have the opportunity to ask, what are you looking for? Because Cuba have a lot of things to show. If you also don't want to go to the beach, but you like diving, you have a lot of places that you can dive. If you want to go to fish, you have a lot of places to go to fish. If you like hiking, you have a lot of places to hiking. If you just want to, because we are a long island, just 1,000 kilometers between the west to the east, you want to go by bike, you can ride in the bike. Because I told you before, it's safe, but we have all these kind of products in the island. Also, if you are talking about luxury, we have luxury hotel in Cuba. We have a new restaurant, private restaurant in Havana, amazing restaurant, Italian restaurant, Spanish restaurant, Greek restaurant. We have a lot of things to show and really good quality of food.
Yeah, we have a little bit for everybody.
Exactly.
We have a lot of national parks, a lot of World Heritage sites. Actually, we have over 15 World Heritage sites. So yeah, if you think that Cuba is only mojitos and beach, think again.
Beautiful. I think everybody at home is already convinced we can finish the interview. No, I'm joking. But speaking of travelers, apart from the Canadian market and Canadians coming to Cuba, do you see other nationalities coming? Like what's the second, third, fourth, and so on?
Canada number one. Canada number one. Almost always every year more than 1 million Canadians fly to Cuba for different cities that I told you. Toronto is the principal getaway. Montreal, Quebec, Vancouver, Halifax, Saint John, Newfoundland, Hamilton, coast to coast. Yeah. The second one market is the Cubans that live outside from Cuba, residents outside from Cuba. The third market is the people from US. The people from US, or customer from US, I mean. Also, we have people from Russia, we have people from Germany, we have people from Spain, we have China, we have Portugal. Right now, at the summer, Portugal is really important to Cuba. They have directly fly to Santa Maria, to Cayo Coco, to Varadero. Also, we have from Italy some clients, and a lot of people from Mexico, Argentina, South America that use different combinations, go to Cuba or other country.
Okay, since we talked about Canadian travelers, a lot of our viewers are also from America. do you find that Canadians experience Cuba differently from Americans?
I think with the American clients, from what I understand, is they go to Cuba, the ones that go, and they love it. And the same thing, one of the feedback, the biggest feedback is about the Cuban people, how they feel welcome, that the Cuban people love everybody. They are very well educated. I have to say the connection between the two people exists. And when the Americans go to Cuba, they love it. They feel like they are not hated whatsoever. And they enjoy the Cuban culture because also at the same time, remember the American, as a country, they were very familiar with Cuba in the 50s. So all those connections are there. But at the same time, these days, because yes, there are restrictions for Americans traveling to Cuba as tourists, they can travel under 12 categories only, approved by the American government, which they can find out through the Treasury Department. But there are 12 categories they can travel to Cuba, like people to people, educational programs, religious programs. There are so many different programs they can go to Cuba.
Cuba is really, right now, Cuba is, not right now, forever is open. Opening to all the markets. The Americans, if you want to go to Cuba, they are open to go to Cuba. They feel really happy when they go to Cuba. I know a lot of people, also famous people, that when I arrive to Cuba, to Havana, say, "Oh my God, why I don't be before here?" No, because it's a new thing about new culture. But the more important is one thing that Nieves say: the Cuban people are really educated about the tourism.
It's the same for all countries of the world. And I have to say, if you want to go to Cuba as tourist, the entry requirements are the same for all countries of the world,
Exactly.
including Americans. So when you travel to Cuba, it's just your passport, you need health insurance, and an e-visa. That is an electronic visa that you have to do online. But it's the same for all countries of the world. We don't impose any restrictions for Americans. The restrictions that they do exist are by the American government, not by the Cuban government. We don't have any restrictions, and we don't even stamp passports. When you go through immigration in Cuba, we don't stamp passports. So, said that, everybody's welcome.
Have you ever worked with American agencies or clients, and how did you navigate this kind of restrictions from the American side?
So, me personally, we don't have first-hand information on the American market because our duty is with the Canadian market. But again, I know that there are a lot of Americans that travel to Cuba, and there are a lot of Cuban companies. There is one company, Havana Tour, that also has been working with the American market. It's pretty straightforward. They have to follow those 12 categories if they want to travel to Cuba legally.
Let's go back to Canadians. For the Canadian market, since it's the biggest market for Cuba, when do you see the highest influx of travelers from Canada? What part of the year? Is it like a trend or something specific?
Yeah, the tourist is very seasonal, and the peak season goes from December to March. And if you are here in Canada, you know why. It's the winter. They want to escape the winter, but to tell you the truth, we have been able to get so much business now during the summertime because Cuba is so affordable. And sometimes a Canadian, rent a cottage, sometimes it's out of their budget, or going to Europe. And again, I always say, most Canadians go to Europe because of the architecture, of the history. I say Cuba was built by the same architects, and it's only 3 hours away. And it's like going to Europe, but perfect weather, and cheaper and closer.
Yeah.
So anyway, said that, it's still the majority of our clients coming from Canada. They go in the winter time, and it's December to March.
Is there any developing travel trends that you see emerging in Cuba, like wellness or maybe ecotourism or maybe nature? Did you see anything developed in the last couple of years?
We are working exactly in that, because like I told you before, we focus to the Canadian market with the sun and beach. And we have a lot of things to do. I'm really happy. I just back from Cuba the last week. And for example, we're going to start to develop products about the long stay, the snowbirds. We usually go to some part from US, another part of America, Portugal. Now in Cuba, you can stay more than 6 months if you like there. You can escape for the winter, go to long stay house or long stay hotel in Cuba, and that is a new opportunity that we have in Cuba. Also the wellness. We have now I don't know if you know Blue Diamonds. Blue Diamond Hotel have a new brand in Cuba that the name is Resonance. Resonant Blue and Resonant Music. The Resonant Music is more focused on the young people that want to party. Also, we are bringing DJ from Canada every week to that hotel to play music there. And the Resonant Blue is more wellness. The people that want to be quiet, massage, quality of life,
Yoga.
Relax, yoga, the food, different food, all these products. And we are working in that also. We are working the marinas, because I think that a lot of people from Canada also have a lot of boats around Cuba and Bahama, and they stay there for like Cape at the summer, but they have the opportunity to go to Cuba also and living in the boat. The hiking, now we have a new product. We hike in Pinar del Rio, Trinidad, in Santiago de Cuba. New hotels that is not just in the city or Songa Beach, also new hotels that is more focused for the natural things. River, escape, mountain, horses, something like that. Cuba is working really hard, and maybe you have a product that is you are the own. Like you go to my farm to know how you make the habanos, or how you make coffee, or how you make that, and also you have the opportunity to go and share with that people. But I stay also in the room that they have ready in the farm, in the village over there. We have a lot of things to do. We have a new thing that we are trying to develop in the few years. Also the route, I don't know how can I say in English, the route. For example, right now, if you go to Peru, it's really famous, the food route, that you follow the traditional food, something like that. Now in Cuba also we are working in that because we have different culture about the food, the thing to eat, the drink, the cigars, and now we are.
What advice would you give visitors who heavily rely on Wi-Fi, such as digital nomads in Cuba? Like how accessible is Wi-Fi, or any general tips?
No, about the Wi-Fi also. The Ministry of the Tourism of Cuba, have a big plan about the Wi-Fi. Right now we have a Wi-Fi free in the hotel. But also 2 years ago, we started to put the Wi-Fi in the catamaran. And we are working to put the Wi-Fi in the buses for the excursion. That maybe you go to any excursion to the city tour, and then you can transmit directly also from the... We have a big plan. That we started maybe 7 years ago.
Yeah.
But now all the 5-star hotel have a Wi-Fi free. The 4-star hotel have Wi-Fi free. It's beautiful that you go to the beach and you speak with your family. Look at that, look at the beautiful beaches, and from the beach you are alive with the Wi-Fi there.
What are the most reliable places for tourists to exchange money in? Do you have any recommendations? Is it through the hotel or private companies there?
With the currency, we are so happy that now, since last year, we are so flexible. And we made everything easier for visitors to pay in Cuba, because they can pay with any credit card as long as they are not issued by American banks. But they can use any other bank from any other part of the world. They can, Canadians, they can use even the debit card, and they can pay directly at the hotels with the debit or the credit cards, but also they can pay in cash. And I think for Americans that also is makes everything so easy because they can pay directly in US dollars cash everywhere. If they don't want to exchange, they don't have to bother exchanging. Also, they can pay it in euros and any other major currency around the world. They can use cash in Cuba. I would say even the private businesses, they take US dollars, euros, Canadian. They take any currency because it's up to the owner's discretion. I have to say the credit cards and the debit cards are accepted, as I said, mainly at the hotels. Outside of the hotel is cash. So only exchange as you need them. The best places to exchange them would be airports, banks, hotels, and the local exchange houses that in Cuba we call them cadecas, and they are everywhere.
In addition, we have a new service. That is the classic card and tropical debit card. That means that you can go with the cash and go to the front desk of the hotel or the airport, and you put the money that you're going to use in this debit card in the front desk, for example, 100 Canadian dollars, and they give you the card with that Canadian dollar. It's like the gift card that we have here.
I think that especially for the Americans client, this works really well.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of a prepaid card.
So obviously Cuban cuisine is a big draw for visitors. What would you say are the top recommendations for first-time travelers coming to Cuba and want to experience authentic Cuban cuisine?
Oh my goodness, we have really, really good dishes that I would like to recommend. The national dish we call ajiaco, and I think it's with different names. It's quite popular in all Central and South America, and it's kind of a stew. But I have to say, what Cubans really like is the roasted pork in the spit. So it's like for our big holidays, our big party celebrations, we do a pig in a spit, like a rotisserie style, open fire. Oh my goodness, you cannot go wrong with that, and black beans and rice. Also, we have one dish that is quite popular, and it's kind of a pulled beef that we call ropa vieja. Imagine we do that with flank steak, and then when it's very, very tender, it's like a pulled beef. Just it's so tender that you can just break it apart with a fork. That is one of my favorites. That with rice and beans is a popular dish. And also we eat a lot of plantain, like most of Central America and the Caribbean, we eat a lot of plantain too.
Y la yuca con mojo.
We have, we have a root vegetable that is not very well known in North America. We call yuca. Basically, it's more known as cassava. We do like a garlic sauce that we call mojo. And it's a garlic, lime juice, and olive oil.
The good thing also of the Cuban food is too organic.
All the food in Cuba is organic, and started because we didn't have money to buy fertilizers. And at the end of the day, we didn't know how important is this day. And I can tell you the concept of farm to table. We have been using that before it was cool around the world. So when you go to Cuba, that is what you are going to get.
And one recommendation, I can't eat because I'm allergic. But if you have the opportunity to eat the Cuban lobster,
the seafood
is amazing.
Very fresh.
That's nice. Sounds very tasty. Speaking of Cuban dishes, are there dishes that differ from region to region? The same dish?
I would say probably there are parts of Cuba that they have variations of the same cuisine, but basically our cuisine was a mix of a Spanish cuisine and some influences from Africa, from France, and later from America. So, but basically it's a Spanish cuisine. There are regions in Cuba, like in the northeastern part of Cuba of Baracoa, that they have probably different dishes. Like they cook probably with coconut milk. They use a lot of coconuts in their cuisine. But basically, more or less, you can find the typical dish everywhere.
Apart from mojitos and Cuba Libre, what additional beverages would you recommend travelers to try in Cuba?
Oh, he's the expert with drinks.
I'm not that drunk. No, Cuba have a lot of classic cocktails, like mojito. Mojito and daiquiri is really famous. The daiquiri, the Ernest Hemingway. You know, and Ernest Hemingway drink in the Floridita a lot of mojito. But if he go to Bodeguita, in the Floridita a lot of daiquiri. But if you go to the Bodeguita del Medio, a lot of mojito. But we have also the Cuba Libre. We have a Havana Special. But the daiquiri is with different flavors. We have margarita also. In Cuba, we made the margarita. The canchanchara. Canchanchara is one of the more popular. If you go to Trinidad, that is the national drink in Trinidad. It's really famous. Is with lemon, aguardiente, honey, sugar, you know. But I said a lot of cocktails. If you want to drink straight, no cocktails, the more popular is the Havana Club. We have the Santiago de Cuba rum. Also the beer, the Cuban beer is one of the more popular in the world. That is Cristal beer and Bucanero beer.
That's nice. Before we finish the interview, is there something that you would like to tell our travelers before we conclude this interview?
I would say we can't wait to receive you in Cuba and welcome you in Cuba. Cuba is a beautiful country, and from my heart, I would say you are welcome in Cuba. It's a beautiful country that will never disappoint you, with the best beaches of the Caribbean, the local culture, the history, the colonial cities. We have a little bit for everybody. So come, you will be welcome, you will have the time of your life, and it's a place where you just can relax and enjoy yourself, have a unique experience, and you will love it. And again, it's safe, you can mingle with the locals, and you will feel at home.
No, just really fast. No? Thanks for inviting us. Thanks TripToGo. I think that is the best time to go to Cuba. We're going to invite you to Cuba, and you can feel all these experiences that we was talking about. Today here. But you live that experience yourself. You know, everything that we're talking about, the mojito. I need that you go there and you feel the mojito, the black rice with the pork. You feel that, the music. We don't talk about the music. When I go to Colombia, the people from Colombia say we are the country that best salsa dancers exist. I say no, Cuba in the first one. That is another thing that we have in Cuba. Everybody, the people is dancing. We have problems, but always we are happy, and always we are say welcome to our home, to everybody that wanna visit us.
Beautiful. Lessner, Nieves, thank you for joining us today. And thank you for everyone watching at home. Thanks.
One of the most popular drinks that we have in Cuba is the Cuba Libre. This Cuba Libre that we're going to make now, we're going to use the 7 years Havana Club. Or Cubata, because we're going to make with the 7 years old. Usually when it's Cuba Libre, we use the 3 years old. Okay, in Cuba, usually when we open the bottle, we do it like this, and we throw some rum in the floor, and we say, to God, you know, to good luck, you know. And then already the glasses have ice inside, but we're going to put the rum. The rum is up to you. If you want a more stronger, you put more rum. If you want a more light, you put less rum, okay? And then we're going to use the Coke. If you have lemon juice, you can put also lemon juice. And then the Coke. And a little lemon juice. Or sometimes also you can put it like this. I prefer like this. Okay, I'm ready to share.
Great.
Cheers.
Thank you. Thank you.